Morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining. I think we've got 9 people in here already. Um, Maybe if we want to just give it another minute and see if there's anyone else to join. But I think from what I see, it's just mostly people from Flowtech. So great to see you all join this morning. We've also got some people signed up from the Netherlands as well. So Mikral, if you've also joined, great to have you. We've also got one signed up from New Zealand. So yeah, amazing if you have joined. Fair play for staying up for this. Really appreciate it. But yeah, great to have you all join on a Friday morning. Hope the weather's just as nice for you guys as it is up here in Manchester. So, yeah, for this webinar today, we're going to be going into the communication side of Workspace 365, exploring how we can simplify that for your customers and looking a little bit into how we position that and how you can position that to your customers. So we've got a quick agenda for the meeting, just a little gloss over what you can expect. So yeah, I'll give a quick introduction to myself and Erik. But we're going to be looking into the vision of Workspace 365, why we initially started as a product and how communications has been a big part of that. Looking into the challenges that we've seen in the market, how that's continuing to grow, not only in the Netherlands, but also in the UK. And then we'll be diving into the value proposition and giving you a little sneak peek into a new feature that we're really excited to be releasing, which is going to be tying into the Engage module and yeah, just further enhancing that communications side of things. And then we'll give you a demo of all of this. And then what we'll be doing is just showing another quick view into the roadmap of 2025, a little sneak peek into some of the things that are coming this year. And then at the end of this, we'll do a quick Q&A if you have some burning questions. So we're joined today in this webinar by co-founder and CEO of Erik Nicolai, who founded Workspace 365 15 years ago now. So yeah, been part of the journey for a long time now and really seen the product evolve into what it is today. So perhaps we could say the visionary, unless you want to give that credit to Hans. But since it's you on the webinar, I think maybe we'll give you all the credit for this now. And then, yeah, I'm Nathan. So for those that I think most of us now from Flowtech I've spoken to, but for those that don't know me, I'm a partner account executive here at Workspace 365, based in Manchester. I'm part of our global expansion, really trying to grow Workspace 365 in global markets like the UK, the Nordics, New Zealand, and also the US. So yeah, some practical information. This is going to be recorded, so you can have a quick view of this afterwards as well, and perhaps share it with some other people within the organisation that might find this relevant. And also feel free to use the chat to drop any questions that you might have throughout this webinar.
Thanks, Nathan. Brilliant. Good introduction.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
No,
of course, go ahead, Erik. I was just going to say to you, so like you've obviously seen Workspace 365 grow as a product. So yeah, maybe you can just explain how that's been such a big part of our journey in really trying to achieve our mission of simplifying everything for the end user.
Yeah, good question. So I think, good morning, everyone. It's not only that the product has evolved, I think also the market demands, customer demands have changed. So when we started with Workspace 365, it was mainly a conversation with IT that was driving the conversation about simplifying extra applications and surrounding Microsoft 365 or Office 365 back in the days. So I think if you look at our conversations today, that it's not only IT is part of the mix, it's also communication and HR that are part of the conversations. So I think it's not only changing from a technology perspective, it's also who is addressing the whole digital work focus. Is it part of IT or is it part of communication? Is IT information management? And we really see that they all come together in kind of a unified employee experience. And this is the origin of today's webinar, is to not only talk about Workspace 365 as an IT product, but also think about how does it leverage communication and HR in the same manner. So most partners that implement Workspace 365 with the customers, they mostly start with providing access to applications and to make sure there is a unified way of presenting applications and information within Workspace 365. And if you think about the next step that most customers take with, well, they adopt Workspace 365, is taking the next step on simply on communication and really about how to streamline communication within the workspace and within the organization. And lastly, we see that customers then take the step about, hey, is this from a communication, how can we also tie into the information pool of data within the organization? And how can we really complete the workspace experience by not only presenting applications, not only presenting communication, but also kind of presenting information and workflows in the same workspace. But today, we really want to talk about simplified communication to make sure you have an understanding about how to position it, what is contained, so what are the functionalities and the values within Workspace 5 that you can leverage, and also announce what we developed and released last night and how you can benefit from just really extending Workspace 5 for your customers. So if we zoom into communication, we see that for many organizations, it's super challenging to make sure that people get the right information, right? So we all love to communicate. And I think in today's era, there is just there is so much, and there are so many different channels, like how to consume what's relevant to what you need to know. And really is that from an employee perspective, is that many times people ask people around them to say, hey, where can I find this? Or where can I find this? Or what was shared about this? So a lot of conversations are happening before people take the official route, right? So that's the same for support tickets. People first ask their peers before submit a support ticket. And the same happens where you look for a travel policy or for something on HR. They first ask people around them, and then they try and then after they can't find it, and then they just ask people around them, and then they reach out to the department itself. So there's like a whole bunch of time wasted for people to really find what's needed. And then we have communication complaining, so we can't get to the right people, and we can't get the information that was relevant for them. And as a consequence, if you don't read what's relevant for you, you feel that you're not really connected to the organization. And I think people want to feel connected on the vision, on the company, on what you're doing, on what your role, how you're progressing. So it's all about being part of something bigger than just yourself. And to make sure that people feel connected, that we give them the right information, and make sure that people just know where to look. This is exactly the challenge we want to solve with Workspace 35. So,
yeah, sorry, Erik, I was just going to ask from a partner perspective as well, when obviously they're speaking to their customers and they're recognizing that their communication's fragmented, they're seeing these challenges. How can they really sort of highlight how important of an issue this is for businesses?
Yeah, so I think it's understanding how they solve the problem today, right? So how they communicate, what type of tools they use, what type of platforms, and then really have the conversation, like how effective is this, right? So how did we manage communication in the organization? How do we manage it? How do we share information? How do people get access to what's relevant for them on the knowledge level? How do we share things happening in the company? So I think it's all about asking questions, how customers do things. It really will shine a light of how ineffective it works from a company perspective, but also how fragmented it can be from an employee perspective. So I think asking the questions on the challenges I shared, I think will give a lot of recognition. And I think lately when we attending DTX as a company to see really what was the kind of the information we asked questions on for customers, this was really resonating, right? So they also, yeah, it's happening, right? So we have an intranet, people don't look, or we share information, but people don't attend. Or we do have a knowledge base of information, but people still ask the question, people can't find it. So I think a lot of times we think we communicate and we share what's relevant, but people still can't find it. So you can question, like, how effective is it if people can't find what's relevant for them? So I don't question the intention to communicate and to share, because everyone is doing it, but the effectiveness and that people have clarity on where to find what, that is missing.
Yeah. Nice.
And that's why we really want to introduce the quarterly theme of Communication Simplified. So the whole quarter, we will make sure that we allow our partners and our customers to really see how Workspace 35 can help them to simplify communication. And we labeled it as Communication Simplified. And Communication Simplified for us is really tying into the bigger vision of everything simplified. Because I think if you want to simplify everything, you really have to take a step-by-step approach, because everything is a lot, right? So how can you break it down? How can you make it small? So I think when you look at application simplified, that's a level many customers already been through. The next step is communication simplified. So how can we help your customers to really simplify how they communicate, how to access, and how to find? And I want to kind of summarize this in 5 ways how we simplify communication for the sake of simplicity, but also to make it logical in how to take this as a step-by-step approach. So we like to think that everything starts with knowledge, right? So regardless of where you get your knowledge from, it all starts with having the right knowledge or know where to find it. And I think with many organizations, people just don't know where to look. So within Workspace 365, we have the functionality we call the knowledge base, where you can literally store anything that is kind of policy related, company related, organizational related, and it's kind of giving you the right information to know, hey, this is what I need to do for this and this process, or this is what I need to do, or this is the company direction. So internally, for example, we share our quarterly goals, our yearly goals. We share everything, how we run the company. Also HR sharing all their handbooks and all their information on travel or car policy. So everything what you need to know can be accessed within your workspace. And what we see within many organizations, it's still stored in PDF files, right? So HR handbook of 26 pages, and you have to go through it. People save it locally, and then people just have outdated versions. So really our advice to our customers is really start creating a knowledge base where you have all the latest and greatest information. Don't store this in PDF files, just put it in Workspace 365, make it easy to find, to search, and to make sure people have access to it. And I can personally say that since we started using the knowledge base, like since 2 years ago, since we introduced it, I hardly ask colleagues for information. I can just type it in, find it, and use it, right? So I think this is a different approach than just creating PDF files on policies or different processes and store it somewhere. It's all about creating an overview of categories. So let's say office policies, HR policies, store your information within it and make sure people can find what's relevant for them. Another thing, what we see in many organizations is how to communicate what's happening, what's relevant, like the latest news or a recent customer win. And many times, especially for larger organizations, communicates top down, right? So communication to everyone. And then people just see information which they don't either understand or what's not relevant for them. And the larger an organization will get, the less interesting things will be for other teams or other colleagues. So if you think about this, as you personalize everything within Workspace 365, how can you not only communicate, but also make sure people have the access to the right information that's relevant for them at the time they need it. And I think it's really about giving people what they need when they need it. And that's the power of our announcements, is that we really streamline it on a category level, on a team level, where you can only see what's relevant for you because you're part of the specific team, or you're part of the whole company or location. So information can be really targeted and shared in a single platform. And then again, so you can communicate, you can collaborate on announcements. But it's really about communication, being able to effectively communicate with the different people in the company. And a third step we see within many organizations is they organize things, right? So they can be a company event, they can be a customer event, and then people just share Outlook invites, or people just post it somewhere. But how to let people know you're interested in attending? So the way we want to address this in Workspace 365 is really have an event category where you can share everything which is planned within the organization, or for customers, or for partners, and really allow people to say, yes, I will attend. Or we can also say this is the maximum capacity we can have at an event. So it's all about share what's relevant, share what's happening, and allow people to say, yes, I will attend, or to make sure that people just see what's happening throughout the company, but also apply this on the same personal level on themes or interests. And the fourth element of communication simplified for us is really allow people to connect with the people relevant for them. That can be as simple as just displaying who is on what different team, but also allow people to say, this is my expertise, this is my work roster, this is how I can help. So it's really about your profile, which you own, and you can really say, this is the information I can help my colleagues with. So if I search in my workspace on Citrix, I can find all my colleagues that label Citrix as their expertise. So I can really kind of find their expertise and just tie into their knowledge. So it's all about bringing people together, finding the right people, but also find your location, your team you're part of. It's really about organizational chart within Workspace 365 that allows you to find and connect with your colleagues. and also get a summary of birthdays. So that's the element, which is very super simple, just to make sure you have an overview of upcoming birthdays. You can just say congratulations. It's super simple, but so effective to make this easy rather than having separate processes to share and birthdays. So I think sometimes the small things are just either unappreciated, but also kind of left unnoticed.
Yeah, and Erik, I guess before you jump on to number 5, for the partners that have customers or speaking to customers that already have intranet solutions, maybe they're using SharePoint as an example, why is it so important to combine the social intranet within the digital workplace? How can our partners communicate that to their customers?
Yeah, so I think the answer is twofold, Nathan. So it's one is the way we set up Workspace, it's just super simple to maintain rather than just do it as a one-off and then struggle to update and to maintain any internet solution, which is normally built based on consultancy and hours. And maintaining it, it's just the hidden cost of SharePoint, I think, is immense. We wrote a white paper about this. So I think a lot of people underestimate how hard it is to maintain the internet if it's not dynamic as Workspace. And I think every time, so we have examples of companies where you say, okay, you have a company phone, you have a personal phone, right? So you can debate that it's okay to bring 2 phones with you, but very suddenly you realize you have to charge 2 phones. You have to say, I bring this phone. So you always carry 2 phones. I think the same example applies to an internet, a desktop, information flows within different portals. So often we see companies where they just have people accessing their information throughout different portals, applications, locations, where just the question is, where do I go next, is often unanswered. And I think bringing everything together in one platform, just make it so simple for employees to know, I just don't need to think where to go. Everything is always in my workspace.
Yes.
And then the latest edition, which we actually released last night, is then the addition of communities within Workspace. And the way to perceive this is that normally communication happens top down, right? So communication shares announcements, or HR shares policies or knowledge base, or we create new apps that are available, or we organize events from a team level or organizational level. But it's all about top-down communication, company communication with employees. But what if we allow people to connect together rather than first to organize everything throughout fixed communication? And more importantly, communities are not asking, let's say, if I need help on the presentation, Nathan, I can say, did you already create this, or did you create that, or do you add this slide? So it's really asking people on a personal level, where communities say, hey, I need help, who has knowledge about this, or who has done this before. So it's really allowing a company to collaborate without asking on a personal level. And I think that's the biggest difference. If you think about one-on-one conversations, like, yes, I can send you an email, say, hey, I need your help. But they're going to say, you can ask the whole growth team, like, hey, who had created a presentation for communities already? Or what was the feedback? And I can just get a response from everyone who had that conversation. So communities is all about connecting, communicating, collaborating, and allowing people to really do this on interest level, right? So you can say you have different communities that are either work related or communities. So for example, we have created an AI community within Workspace 5. So many people are collaborating on new GPTs they built. So it's not asking one person individually, it's just putting in a community of AI and allowing people to share ideas how they do things. If you're interested, you can join. So it's all about creating things that interest people and allow people just to join, to collaborate, and to share what's relevant for them without making it an obligation to respond. And I think that's the biggest difference in the communities. It's not one-on-one communication where it's almost rude to ignore, which if you send someone a Teams message and you don't respond, it's, hey, Erik didn't respond. But if you just ask the question in communities, if I think I can help, I will respond. Or if someone else can help better, he will respond. Or just a whole conversation will start. So it's all about bringing people together, allowing communities to grow. And communities can either be created, organized. So we created one by default, which is all company. But when you go live with communities, you can just say, we have this category, we have this category, where we have teams. Let's say we have sales, we have marketing, we have finance, or we do this on expertise level, or let's say a marketplace, or let's say a sports club. Like internally, we have a padel community, a tennis community, a bootcamp community. So, and I'm part of all three, right? So it's perfectly okay to be part of multiple communities. But if my interest is only padel and not tennis, I won't join tennis, right? So I think it's all about bringing people together, have conversations. Hey, I want to play padel next week, Thursday. Who wants to join? And now it's just a big padel group in teams where it's just a different type of communication. So it's really about bringing people together, create communities, and allow people to really help each other. And that's the origin of communities. We released it last night, so it's available for partners and customers. And the beauty of it, it really works on any device, right? So it's on your browser, it's in your mobile app. So to access the information is you will get a my feed, so a my feed overview, and that will be a combination of all the different categories you're part of, right? So my feed will show me my AI collaboration with colleague one, but also my padel conversation with colleague number two. So it's really an aggregation of all the different groups you're part of. And it just goes by date, right? So most recent on top, and then we just go older and older and older. So it really becomes a dynamic place for you to be updated and to be part, to have conversations and do it on a super simple level where you say, hey, yes, 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 no. So it's not officially, it's not owned by communication. There is no official language, just allowing people to do this together and to help each other. All just to foster a stronger culture, which I think is super important for companies today.
Exactly. We have a question, Erik, from Jay from Flowtech. He raises quite a nice point here as well. As obviously with I'll read it out. He says, "I love the hub and I love the idea of communities, and there's a big chance of people missing announcements when it's crucial. So they'd like a way where we can tick a box to send an email to end users. So is this something that we're going to be looking into, or is on the roadmap?"
You mean like email notification or something?
Yeah. So I imagine similar to like the tick box to show directly to the user. Is there something where we can have it directly send an email to the end user if it's like super urgent and need them to see it?
So we have a summary version of Workspace 35 where you can say I want to have a daily summary or weekly summary, which is about everything happening in Workspace 35. You have an option to give a pop-up to the user when you create an announcement. I think, so thinking about sending it as an email, I think combining the summary service as the pop-up service, it could be easily done, I think. So let me check with our product team how to incorporate this. If you have a business case from a customer, say this is why it's relevant. So I think it can also kind of not help on the information overload because you create multiple places where to go. I think just creating a notification for urgent levels, urgent messages, just say notify, go to your workspace. I don't think we will duplicate it, but I think notifying people differently than just giving the pop on the workspace is quite a nice idea. And then email can be just a way of notifying. So I will discuss this and get back to you.
Perfect. Nice one, Jay, as well for the input.
So how does it come to life? So I think the good example is to think about this Workspace 5 as a customer example, right? So recently we did a case with a care group, and the customer name is Serion, and they really had an IT team saying, yes, we need to change our whole way of accessing applications. But at the same time, they also had a communication team that said, yes, we have to think about a different way of sharing information because our current internet is outdated. So really joined forces and say, hey, how can we just take this as a very pragmatic, simple approach and hit the ground running? And they got in touch with us. So we built a proof of value within a matter of days. And we really built a complete workspace for them, which is almost combining all the requirements they had to go live, but also with a perspective to add things further down the line. And the beauty of this is that they didn't say that everything had to happen on day one. They really took a pragmatic approach. Say, yes, we know we have our handbooks in SharePoint. Yeah, we will go live with it, right? So we know it's still existing documents. Yes, we have Jammer or Viva for some other customers. In this case, it was Jammer. Yes, we have it. But how can we kind of step by step say, okay, can we leverage the knowledge base of Workspace 35 to really present the data in the knowledge base rather than in existing documents? And the same as we did go live with communities. They will test it, evaluate how can this replace their Jammer community to make sure that everything happens in one workspace. And I think the beauty of just taking a step-by-step approach by approaching your employee experience and not saying, okay, everything has to be done from day one. You can easily integrate what you have today, make it better, and then over time with our customer success team or by your own customer success team, say step by step, we help customers to really improve the employee experience by bringing more things together and really unify the whole employee experience. So if you think about what this means from your customer perspective, right? So I think it's good to define it in 3 different categories, right? So we see some customers that only use Workspace 365 as an application portal today to integrate it with Microsoft and to really bring the application layer and the integration with Exchange and SharePoint and so forth to the workspace, which I think then the next step of bringing an internet combined with your application portal is really the next step where most customers want to go. We also have some customers say, yes, we have the hub today, but we only use it for announcements. So how can we really start building a knowledge base, events, and communities? So it's not so much an upsell license-wise, but it is helping customers to really kind of focus on the employee experience. So what you need to access, how can we help you to find it, and how can you get access to it? And I think more now than ever is that Workspace 365 becomes not only an application portal or let's say an internet, is really addressing all the needs from an organizational perspective to say, yes, from day one, we can help customers, we can help teams to do both. And I think that is just a different approach to say, okay, we need to talk to IT. So my advice to you, if you have customer conversations, ask the communication team, how would you like to effectively communicate? Ask the challenges we summarized, and you will find out that in this discovery that customers are actually facing it and allowing you to solve the problem for them. And I do think it requires a different approach, right? So solving an IT problem is normally a one-off, you solve the problem and off you go. But really about building a complete digital workspace is really something to engage, which you can either see as a threat, but I think it's a different approach to IT and the services we provide as an MSP, where really you can build a long-term relationship because you can continuously help companies to really improve the employee experience, which is creating a lot of value as an MSP rather than being a technology partner that makes sure all the applications are running. And when you manage less applications, a bit more SaaS, the value add as an MSP becomes less about technology, but more about productivity and access to the right information. So good to explain that communities is part of our beta program. So within Workspace 365, we have a beta program, which sometimes for new features, we like to say, yes, this is part of the beta program. That means that if you use Workspace 365 today internally, or you have customers using Workspace 365, they won't see communities this morning. They will only see communities if they're part of the beta program. So becoming part of the beta program is super simple. Just send the customer URL or your own URL to support@workspace365.net. And we automated it, so you will be added to the beta program. Mm-hmm. And then you can see communities within your hub come to life, and you can start testing it. The same happens when you join the beta program. You can also see the integration builder, which I'll explain in a minute, the value and the purpose of it. But the main step as a starting point, if you want to test communities, as part of the whole hub and Workspace 365, sign up for the beta program and you will get access. And really our goal for the beta program is just to collect feedback, right? So we developed and designed the communities with our customers, but bringing it to life, see it in action is something different than just designing and developing it based on customer feedback. So we just want to make it better and validate that we think about everything, right? So, or what can help you to make it better, or what can make it more effective. So that's just the validation phase we want to go. We haven't decided if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 months. It depends on the customer feedback, but the customer feedback we use to really build playbooks, the way to implement it, but also customer examples on how other customers are leveraging communities to really implement it successfully. Yeah. So what else to expect in 2025, right? So today we started with sharing our plans for Communication Simplified, how you can leverage this within Workspace 365. The second thing we will do by the end of June is that we will launch Search Simplified. And Search Simplified will use what I shared within the integration framework, an integration builder as part of the beta program. And the integration framework allows you to really say you can search anything within your workspace. So think about a customer where they say we have a CRM system, we have a layer in the financial system. You can just type it in Workspace 5, and we can go through all the different applications that are connected to your workspace to find what's relevant for you. In perspective, so internally, we use HubSpot for CRM, we use Planet for customer success, we use Pendo for customer data, we use a financial application. So all those applications are connected with the integration framework to Workspace 5. If I type in your name as a partner or your customer name, my workspace will find everything related to this customer, from SharePoint documents, in Teams chats, but also in meeting notes. So anything is kind of aggregated into a view where you can find what's relevant for you. So see it as Googling to your company rather than Googling on the net to everything what's publicly available. You can now Google through your company data and find what's relevant for you. And then the third step is that if you think about search through everything what's relevant for you, we will create AI interaction where we say you don't have to only ask and search, you can just ask and we help you to combine everything together, right? So, okay, if you think about, let's say, ask our AI agent the question, okay, what is the impact of this customer? What are the modules they use? Then our AI agent will go through different systems and say, yes, we have found this in HubSpot. I found this in Pendo and I found this in Planet, and then we can really present the data to you as an employee without having to interpret yourself. So it's like an interpretation layer as an agent that can help you to find what's relevant for you and also kind of paint a picture about everything happening. So that really nicely ties into Communication Simplified, because we will do the same for everything related in the hub with Workspace 5. So we can really help you to find the right data. So what's the travel policy within Workspace 5? And my AI agent in Workspace 5 will say, hey, this is what I found. This is what it is. So rather than having to search and interpret, we will do the interpretation for you. And the fourth step we will do at the end of the year is focus on Workflow Simplified. So how can you use the same integration framework? So the integration framework is really designed to connect any application, right? So the way we designed the framework is that we don't need developers to build new integrations. It's almost like a connector profile where we suggest this is the connector, this is the other connector, together, and we can just exchange data. We'll do the same for workflows and interfacing apps. We say, okay, I want to see all my recent day off requests, or I want to see all my expenses. So all kind of previews of data, which we can leverage the same integration framework as we'll do for search, that really build a unique and complete workspace that allows you to create a complete overview of everything relevant for you within your role, based upon your authorization, based upon your access level. You can only see what's relevant for you. Yeah, so I think it's an exciting year ahead. So especially with the additions on communities for communication and what's next to come, I just want to create a clear picture of what to expect from us as an ISV to our partners, to make sure you are aware of our direction, where we're heading from a roadmap perspective, but also how we go to market and how we help our partners to implement it successfully.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you, Erik. I think it's like you say, a really exciting year for us as we start to expand more with the product and start moving more to that goal of really being the one and only workspace for all end users. So yeah, really exciting. I think we've still got 10 minutes, I think. So I think maybe it is nice if anyone's got any burning questions, just to feel free to just shout out loud. It's also okay if not, but if anyone does something, just feel free to shout out now.
And Nathan, so this is the first webinar we organized. So I understood we are organizing this now on a monthly or bi-monthly basis.
That's right. As well,
you can share?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so as you can see on the screen here, we've got 2 webinars coming up, one on the 6th of June and one on the 4th of July. So what we want to do, again, this is similar to this, where it'll be partner focused. We have recently signed a strategic partnership with a company called Aries Global, which was founded by some of the guys that were part of Snowflake's rise in Europe. So Michael Davies will be giving some insights into how you can really leverage Medic and value-based selling in line with Workspace 365. So I think Leonie's just shared the links for them. If not, we'll be firing them out soon enough. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more about sharpening up your sales skills and also just how to apply that to Workspace, then these will be some really exciting webinars for you to join.
Excellent. So Nathan, you said it.
I was premature, sorry.
No worries. So you said, were there any questions in the chat or any other questions that anyone wants to ask? So feel free to type them in or unmute yourself and ask them lively. So anything is okay.
Yeah.
I can't see the chat, Nate. So if you say there are no further questions,
yeah, no,
I
there's
just,
nothing in there, nothing in the chat. So
okay, excellent.
I
Okay,
can
let's
see.
just round it up. So thanks everyone for
Okay.
joining. So I really enjoyed giving you a sneak peek of Communication Simplified.
Yeah.
If you have, let's say, validation questions on how we can help to kind of really embed it into your value proposition, or how to onboard customers with either the full workspace or only, let's say, on the communication level, feel free to reach out. Happy to help. At the end of the day, a partnership is that we're here to help and help you to further develop your workspace proposition for your customers.
Exactly. And a nice little comment from Jay as well. We all love Hub 365 at Flowtech. A big thanks to you all. Yeah, massive thanks to you as well, Jay, and everyone at Flowtech as well. We appreciate you as partners, value you big time. So, yeah, great to see the work you do.
Thanks so much. For everyone watching the recording, thanks for not joining, but watching it back later down the line. Have a good one.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.